It's wild how fast the world changes when you decide to put yourself out there again. I hadn't been on a proper date in over 10 years, a full decade. But here I was, a woman in her 30s, solid job, stable life, and finally ready to try dating again. And honestly, I wasn't nervous. I'm not one of those women who think she's hard to love. Yeah, I've got curves, more than some would prefer. But I also know I'm beautiful. Beautiful face, sharp mind. And I can hold a conversation better than most. I live in a large multicultural city, and my ex was an immigrant, so I've always been open to dating men from different backgrounds. Honestly, I like it. Different perspectives, different stories, different energy. So when I met him, a sweet, charming man from a Latin American country, I didn't even blink. Let's call him Mateo. He was only a couple years younger than me. Cute, affectionate, funny, and not just flirty. Emotionally available. You know the kind? He listened, held eye contact, laughed at the right moments, said things like "you make me feel seen." And that chemistry, yeah, it was very real, inside and outside the bedroom. From the start, he was honest, told me he was here on a tourist visa, said he hoped to find a way to stay, maybe through work, maybe through study, maybe something else. I made it clear, I can't help you with that, but while you're here, we can enjoy each other. He smiled, nodded, and said, "That's all I want." So that was the deal. A summer fling, something light, something fun. No pressure, no promises. And for a while, it felt perfect. We went on 4 dates in 2 weeks, each one better than the last. Brunch dates, late-night walks, laughs in the kitchen, shared playlists, inside jokes, the kind of connection that makes you wonder, wait, what if this could be something real? I let my guard down, because he didn't seem like the type who played games. He talked about his family, how much he missed them. He told me about his job back home, a respectable profession, good salary. He even said he was thinking of starting something here, maybe a business. He made me feel chosen. Then the message came. We were texting late at night. Nothing flirty, just chatting about my job. I just landed a small raise and joked that I might finally be able to buy groceries and pay rent in the same week. And then he said it. "Maybe you can be my sugar mommy." I laughed. I mean, what? It had to be a joke, right? So I replied with a LOL and a laughing emoji. But he didn't let it go. He doubled down. "No, really. You've got the job, the stability. I could focus on figuring out how to stay." I froze. Was he serious? I asked him straight up, "Are you actually asking me to pay for you?" And he replied, "What's wrong with helping each other? You help me now, I help you later. Isn't that what couples do?" My stomach turned, because this wasn't a joke. This wasn't banter. This was a man I liked trying to rebrand using me as a Visa meal ticket as teamwork. I told him I was insulted, that I didn't work hard for 10 years just to be someone's bank account. I called him out, told him he should be embarrassed to ask that, especially after acting like he was looking for something real. And that's when the tone changed fast. He flipped it on me, said I was the one taking things too seriously, that I misunderstood his joke, that I needed to relax, that I was being dramatic. And then he insulted me, called me delusional for thinking he actually liked me, said I was lucky someone like him gave me attention. No apology, no remorse, just straight-up gaslighting and cruelty. I didn't respond. I didn't need to, because what I did next would speak louder than anything he ever said. The moment I hung up on that final text from Mateo, I felt it hit me all at once. Not just the insult, not just the audacity, but the hurt, because I really believed he liked me. I really thought we had something, even if temporary. And now I was just another mark to him. So I did what most people would do in that moment. I took screenshots, every message, every line, every sugar mommy reference, every insult he threw when I didn't give him what he wanted. And then I cried, not because I missed him, but because I felt played, like I'd been targeted, like I wasn't a person to him, just an opportunity. I sent the screenshots to my two closest friends, and let me tell you, they did not disappoint. One of my best friends called me instantly. Her words, "Girl, give me 5 minutes in Wi-Fi. I'm going in." And she meant it. While I wiped my tears, she pulled up everything she could find. We already knew his full name, country of origin, and what city he was staying in. But then she started finding accounts. Lots of accounts. Instagram, 6 different profiles, all with slightly different usernames, all using different batches of the same recycled photos. Some had 0 followers. Some were locked. One had tagged pictures with random women, none of whom were me. All felt weirdly curated, like a scammer testing different personas. Facebook, same thing. Multiple profiles, some in English, some in Spanish, all sketchy. One of them had a photo that made both of us pause. Mateo standing in front of a work vehicle, branded polo, company name clearly visible, tagging the company in his caption. Problem? He was on a tourist visa. And that's when it clicked. He wasn't just using me for attention or free dinners. He was trying to work illegally. And probably doing this to other women too. I called another close friend, the one in law enforcement. She works in a division that coordinates with immigration enforcement. Not the scary kind, the paperwork kind, the real-world consequences kind. I sent her everything. Photos, usernames, screenshots. And within 30 minutes, she sent me back a file. A real file. His file. That's how I found out. He had a wife and daughter back home. Not ex-wife, not separated, wife. Active marriage license. Child under 10 years old. I sat there in shock. The emotionally available guy who said he missed his family had a whole other life. And I wasn't even the only one. My gut told me that if we dug just a little deeper, we'd find other women, other sugar mommies, other hopeful hearts he'd turned into opportunities. That's when the mood changed. I wasn't sad anymore. I was focused. Because if he thought he could walk around smiling, lying, and scamming without consequences, he was about to learn exactly how wrong he was. My friend, the investigator, said, "Want to ruin his life? I've got time." I smiled. Let's go. They always think they're smarter than the women they're using. That's their first mistake. Mateo believed I'd just cry, maybe block him, maybe talk trash in a group chat and move on. What he didn't count on was that I had smart, loyal, and dangerously tech-savvy friends. So we started with what we already knew. His full name, his tourist visa status, the city he was living in, his 6 fake Instagram accounts, that very helpful photo tagging his illegal employer, and the biggest bombshell of all, his wife and daughter. The goal? Expose him, not just to immigration, but to everyone he knew. His friends, his family, his co-workers. Anyone who'd ever believed his carefully built lie. One of my best friends, the internet sleuth, got to work. She created group chats, every platform, every fake account of his, anywhere she could reach the people he was connected to. She invited his sisters, cousins, old school friends, people from his country, people tagged in his party photos, mutuals who probably had no clue who I was. Then she dropped the screenshots, one by one. Text messages of him asking to be taken care of. The nasty things he said when I declined. The multiple accounts. The tagged employer. And then she followed it with, "You might want to ask your boy why he's scamming women while still married with a kid." The reactions were immediate. Some tried to defend him. Others left the chats. Most blocked her. So she made more chats, added more people, took screenshots of them leaving, and sent them to other contacts. She wasn't petty. She was surgical. I found his sister's number. One of my best friends sent her a WhatsApp message. If your brother can lie to me, a stranger, this easily, what's he lying to you about? She blocked her, but not before reading the message and seeing the proof. And once that seed is planted, it doesn't go away. 30 minutes into the exposure, he messaged me. No apology, no accountability, just pure ego. You should be smart enough to know I was joking. You think I'd need to sell myself to a woman like you? There it was. That last little kick, that desperate need to flip it on me. But I didn't reply. I didn't have to, because the real punishment was already in motion. Next step, immigration. I use the online immigration reporting form. It's long, bureaucratic. Most people think it never leads to anything. But this time, I had details, names, photos, company, address, proof he was working, screenshots of him admitting it in writing, and best of all, a file number. Because my friend, the law enforcement officer, told me exactly where to send it. 2 days later, they showed up at his door. 2 days. That's all it took. 2 days from the moment I submitted the report until immigration showed up at Mateo's front door. And to be honest, even I was shocked by how fast it moved. Because usually, these reports take months, sometimes never get touched. But remember, I had help. My friend in law enforcement had passed the file number along internally. She didn't pull strings. She didn't need to, because the report I submitted was airtight, detailed, clear, backed up with photos, messages, even an address and employer tag from his own social media. There was no maybe about it. He wasn't just lying, he was breaking the law. They didn't arrest him that day, but they showed up at his apartment. They asked questions. They asked for ID. They asked about the phone number he had listed on his job profile, which, by the way, wasn't even registered to him. It was issued to a local citizen, the same one linked to the employer that had been paying him under the table. And guess what? His roommates had the exact same setup. Multiple foreign nationals, all with phone numbers linked back to the same man, all living in the same apartment. What they'd uncovered wasn't just one guy lying to get laid. It was a small-scale illegal employment ring. And Mateo had been dumb enough to brag about it online. He got a caution, that's what they called it, a formal warning for lying about his employment, violating the terms of his tourist visa, attempting to defraud a local resident, me, and more importantly, a no-contact order. He was told, "You contact this woman again by any means and we will deport you immediately." Oh, and one more thing. They placed a permanent flag on his immigration record. Depending on the country of origin, that kind of flag can result in a multi-year entry ban. And in Mateo's case, he wasn't just flagged. He was now blacklisted. His roommates also got warnings. All of them. They had been working illegally, living under the radar, and funneling payments through their sponsor employer. But that employer? Well, they were next. 2 days after the apartment visit, law enforcement hit the company. They showed up at the office Mateo had tagged in his Instagram post, the one where he smiled in front of the company van like an idiot. And inside, they found everything. Under-the-table pay records. No documentation from multiple contractors. More burner phones. Fake contact info. It wasn't just Mateo. It was a system. And now, it was under federal investigation. They haven't released all the details publicly yet. But from what my friend in enforcement told me, they're looking at tens of thousands in fines, possibly even criminal charges. As for Mateo, he's not being deported. Why? Because deportation is expensive, and his visa is set to expire soon anyway. But here's what they did do. They issued a multi-year ban. He will not be allowed to re-enter my country for the foreseeable future. And if he dares contact me again, one call and he'll be on the next plane out, at his own expense. The man who once laughed about being taken care of now has to go home to his angry wife, a family who's seen every message he sent me, and a ruined chance of ever coming back here legally. Hope that sugar mommy scam was worth it, because now, the only thing he's taking home is shame. I didn't have to say another word. After the immigration visit, after the company got raided, after the phone numbers got traced, Mateo's entire world started to collapse on its own. And me? I just watched, from a distance, quiet, calm, the same way he had manipulated me. With a smile and no warning, I now watched him burn silently. But what really sealed it was the reaction from his family. His sister blocked us after my friend messaged her. Sure, but she read everything. And from that moment on, the exposure rippled through every person we had added to those chats. Cousins, friends, old classmates, even his wife's relatives. One by one, they saw the screenshots, the messages, the Instagram fakes, the sugar mommy request, the insults. Mateo didn't just get caught cheating. He got caught scamming, pretending to be single, pretending to be in love, pretending to be emotionally available, when really, he was just shopping for a free ride. It only took one of his cousins, a woman, to flip the entire family thread. "You're disgusting. Your wife is crying. Your daughter's photo was your profile picture while you were messaging women like this? Shame." He left the chat, but not before we grabbed a screenshot. That comment? We reposted it everywhere. One of his male relatives tried defending him, said something like, "All men make mistakes. Why ruin his future?" My friend replied, "He tried to buy a future with my friend's paycheck. He deserves nothing." Blocked again. But the messages had already done the damage, and I know he saw it, because after 48 hours of total silence, he cracked. He messaged me again. "You think this is funny? You think ruining my life makes you powerful? You're just bitter because no one really wanted you." I was being kind. I stared at the message. I didn't feel angry. I felt embarrassed for him. Because even now, with everything falling apart, he couldn't admit what he did. Couldn't say sorry, couldn't accept responsibility, couldn't even fake regret. I didn't respond. He wasn't worth the energy. Because while he was spiraling, I was getting my peace back. The phone stopped buzzing. The chats quieted. My friends and I had done what needed to be done. And in the space where his manipulation used to live, there was just stillness. I didn't tell my job, didn't broadcast it. This was personal, not professional. It didn't define me, it just reminded me that even if you think you've healed from the past, even if you feel strong, there will always be people who try to take advantage of your kindness. And when they do, you don't have to scream. You just have to be strategic. Mateo had been charming, smooth, well-practiced. But in the end, he couldn't outrun the receipts. And now, he's stuck back home, with a marriage on fire, a reputation in shreds, a legal ban from the only country he was trying to build a future in. And the cherry on top? A warning file with immigration enforcement that'll follow him for years. All because he thought he could play me. I didn't get revenge. I got accountability. And honestly, it felt better than revenge ever could. There's a strange silence that comes after something explodes. Not the scary kind, the peaceful kind. Like when a storm finally passes and you realize your house is still standing, but cleaner somehow. Lighter. After Mateo was gone, after the texts stopped, after his name vanished from my inbox, I waited for the regret, the guilt, that heavy "what did I do" feeling. But it never came, because what I did was right, not petty, not cruel, not impulsive, just correct, measured, intentional, necessary. I never wanted revenge. What I wanted was respect. Even if he didn't give it to me, I gave it to myself. And that's a kind of power you don't need anyone else to validate. For the first time in years, I looked in the mirror and didn't see a woman asking to be chosen. I saw a woman who chose herself. That sounds cliché. I get it. But after you've spent a decade in one long relationship, then dive headfirst into dating again, you forget how quickly people can make you feel disposable, like you're just something to use, enjoy, move past. But Mateo's mistake was thinking I didn't know my worth. He assumed that just because I was kind, that I was naive, that I wouldn't push back, that I'd rather be used than be alone. He was wrong. I started taking walks again. Morning coffee, no phone. Just fresh air and silence. I journaled more, wrote down everything he made me feel, good and bad. Not because I missed him, but because writing turns chaos into structure. And structure? That's where healing lives. My friends stopped asking, "Are you okay?" and started saying, "You look stronger." And I was, not angry, not vengeful, just clear. I even got a message from someone else, a woman I didn't know. One of Mateo's old flings, maybe. She said, "Thank you. I wish I had done what you did when I had the chance." That message meant more than I expected, because I realized this story wasn't just mine. Every woman who's ever been manipulated, lied to, used for a visa, money, validation, convenience, they know this story. And when they hear it, they don't cheer for the takedown. They exhale, because it's proof that standing up for yourself doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be final. Mateo's still out there somewhere, probably blaming me for his problems, probably telling his version of the story, probably still pretending he didn't do anything wrong. That's fine. Let him. Because while he's stuck in the same cycle, I've moved on. Not to someone new, not yet, but to something better, myself. To trusting myself again, to not second-guessing red flags, to knowing when chemistry isn't the same as respect. This wasn't my last heartbreak, and I'm sure I'll have more awkward dates, more lessons, more plot twists. But now, I'm not scared of them, because I know what to do when someone shows me who they are. I don't wait, I don't beg, I act, and that is what he'll remember the most. Not my name, not the fling, not even the photos, but the moment he realized. He tried to scam the wrong woman. A few days after the storm settled, my inbox lit up again, but not from him. This time, from women. Some I knew vaguely, friends of friends. Others were complete strangers. Each message started the same way. I saw the screenshots. I heard what happened. I think I dated him too. And suddenly, my experience wasn't isolated. Mateo had done this before. Different cities, different names, different Instagram handles, but the same game. Charm them, compliment them, play the poor, sweet foreigner card, then ask for help, for money, for housing, for understanding. One woman said she let him crash on her couch for a week. He told her he had nowhere else to go. She found him messaging 3 other girls from her laptop. Blocked him, moved on. Never told anyone. Until now. Another girl said he told her he was waiting on a visa sponsor and asked if she knew anyone with connections. She didn't. But he slept with her anyway, then ghosted her 2 weeks later. He didn't just break hearts. He strategized. He turned dating into a survival game. And women like me were just stepping stones to his next move. I didn't respond to all the messages. Some women just needed to vent. Some apologized for not warning anyone sooner. One even thanked me. Because of you, his wife knows. And because of that, maybe he won't be able to do this again. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just my story. It was a warning, a red flag waved publicly, not just for Mateo, but for every man like him. Men who prey on kindness, who mistake open hearts for open wallets. who lie because they've never been held accountable. And now, people were watching. I didn't post anything publicly. Didn't need to. The story traveled on its own, through group chats, screenshots, whispered warnings, and slowly, his reputation did what it deserved to: crumble. A close friend of mine told me she still checked his accounts from time to time. 3 of his Instagrams were deleted. 2 were inactive. 1 went private with 0 followers. A digital graveyard of his former scam operation. And in our city, word got around. One of my coworkers, someone I barely talked to, mentioned it in passing. "Did you hear about that tourist guy getting banned over dating scams?" I just nodded, didn't say a word. But inside, I smiled. Because when your truth becomes part of a larger message, that's when you know you did the right thing. I wasn't proud of what happened. I wasn't proud I fell for him, that I ignored small signs, that I trusted someone who hadn't earned it. But I was proud that I didn't stay silent, that I didn't let embarrassment keep me quiet, that I didn't let him rewrite the ending. Because how many women never say anything? How many just carry the shame and move on? Not this time. I thought it was over. I truly did. The warnings had gone out. The reports were filed. His immigration status was ruined. His wife knew. His family blocked him. His fake profiles were either dead or private. What more was there? But they never go quiet, do they? Not when they lose. Not when the game ends with you winning. One morning, just before work, I got a message request. New number, no name. But I knew who it was before I even opened it, because cowards always come back one last time. You really think you're better than me? You think ruining a man's future makes you smart. You're just bitter and bored. That's why no one stays. That was the first paragraph. There were 3 more, filled with projection, delusion, and desperate jabs, trying to claw back power after I took it away. I didn't reply, didn't screenshot it, didn't even show my friends, because I didn't need backup anymore. I had peace, and that doesn't need defending. I just blocked the number, deleted the thread, put on my blazer, and went to work. Because I wasn't his unfinished chapter. I was his ending. The woman he thought would be another soft spot to land, another backup plan, another quiet exit. Instead, I was the last door that slammed shut in his face. And I know that eats at him. That no matter where he goes next, that scar, the one with my name on it, will always be there. Because I didn't scream, I didn't threaten, I didn't chase him down. I just documented, sent the receipts, pressed submit, and let truth do what truth always does: rise. That last message he sent, it wasn't confidence, it was panic, because the man who once bragged about being too clever for consequences was now locked out of every country, every woman, every story he ever tried to fake his way into. And me? I didn't just survive. I rewrote the ending. There's something beautiful about not needing revenge, not because you forgive them, but because you're finally free from caring. That's what real healing looks like. It's not, I hope karma gets him. It's, I'm good, he doesn't matter anymore. And the version of me that fell for him? She's not stupid. She's hopeful. She believed in love again. She gave someone a chance. She stayed open, even when it was scary. She got burned, yes, but she also lit the fire that burned his fake life to the ground. I'd call that strength. It's funny how light you feel once you stop carrying someone else's lies. I didn't realize how much weight I was holding until it was gone. The stress, the confusion, the guessing, the overanalyzing, gone, just like him. I started waking up earlier, drinking my coffee slowly, leaving my phone in the other room. Reading again. Not self-help, not heartbreak books, just things that reminded me what it felt like to enjoy my own company. I went to brunch alone for the first time in years. The waiter asked if someone would be joining me. I said, "Nope, just me." And I smiled, genuinely. Because being alone didn't feel like less anymore. It felt like space. And space is where real things grow. Meanwhile, I knew what Mateo was doing. Not exactly, but I could guess. He was probably back in his hometown, trying to act unbothered, telling his friends I was crazy, telling his wife I was lying, telling himself the same old story. She ruined me. But deep down, he knows the truth. I didn't ruin him. He did. I just sent the receipts to the people he was hiding from. That's not revenge. That's release. And the best part? I don't have to watch him fail. I don't have to see his name again. I don't have to wait for karma. Because karma already came, and her name was me. There's a peace that comes from knowing someone can't reach you anymore. Physically, emotionally, legally. He has no access now. Not to my body, not to my inbox, not to my story. He stayed stuck. And I started moving. I signed up for a cooking class, started journaling again, got back on dating apps, not out of loneliness, but curiosity. I went into it smarter, sharper, not guarded, just clearer. No more accepting half-truths. No more ignoring little gut feelings. No more, maybe he just meant well. I'm not cold now. I'm just awake. And that makes me powerful. I even matched with someone interesting. A slow, respectful guy, kind eyes, real job. No talk of visas, no trauma dumping on the first date. We'll see where it goes. No pressure, no rush, because whether he stays or not, I've already chosen myself. Mateo never had that power. He thought he did, because for a moment, I saw potential in him. But that's all it was, my potential. He never earned my love, never earned my money, never earned my help. He borrowed my kindness, then tried to steal more. And when I said no, he collapsed. Because people like him, they're only strong when no one's watching. But I watched, and I acted. And now, he's just a chapter. One that ends with me walking away stronger. There's something nobody tells you about healing. You don't just feel better. You see clearer. The world looks different. The conversations, the body language, the little things you used to brush off, now you recognize them for what they are. After Mateo, I don't tolerate jokes that sound like warnings. I don't overlook small inconsistencies. I don't excuse grown men who don't have their life together. Because I've learned, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And honestly, that's been the biggest shift. Not my looks, not my relationship status, not even my confidence. My standards. They've leveled up. I sat with my friends recently, the same two who helped me take him down. We had wine, we laughed, and then one of them said, "You're different now, not colder, just done playing games." And she was right. I'm done making myself smaller so someone else can feel big. Done proving I'm worth respecting. Done hoping potential will turn into consistency. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for integrity. And you know what else? I stopped apologizing for wanting stability. Because somewhere along the line, women got tricked into thinking wanting a man who's emotionally steady and financially functional is too much. It's not. It's basic. And I'll never again settle for someone who needs to be rescued just to be present. I look back now and think about how easily Mateo fooled me. He played the part so well, said all the right things, knew how to mimic vulnerability, made future talk sound like a love language. But it wasn't love. It was strategy. He didn't want me. He wanted what I had: stability, legal status, a soft place to land. And when I said, "I'm not giving you that," he got cruel. That wasn't a breakup. That was an unmasking. And now, I don't flinch when masks fall off. I hand people the rope and let them show me their true face. If it's beautiful, great. If it's ugly, I walk. No fixing, no chasing, no begging. Because I've already survived someone who tried to make me feel like his scam was my fault. Never again. Sometimes I wonder if Mateo thinks about me now, if he realizes what he lost. But that's the thing, he didn't lose me. He never really had me. He lost the opportunity to become better through me. And instead, he doubled down on being a fraud. That's not on me, that's on him. What's on me is that I saw the danger, acted, and came out stronger. I gave myself the closure he was never capable of, and I didn't need revenge. I just needed truth. And if I have to choose between being too intense or being someone else's target again, I'll choose intense every time, because intensity is just clarity with a backbone. After all the drama faded, I started getting messages. Not from him, not from mutual friends, not even from anyone I'd spoken to before. These were strangers, women from other cities, other backgrounds, other versions of me. They'd seen the screenshots, they'd heard what happened, and one by one, they started telling their stories. Same thing happened to me. Different guy, same tactics. I thought I was crazy. Now I know I wasn't. Thank you for not staying silent. You gave me the push I needed. At first, I didn't know how to respond. What do you say to someone who's carrying pain that mirrors your own? You can't fix it, but you can recognize it. So that's what I did. I said, I believe you. I'm so sorry that happened. You didn't deserve that. It's not your fault. You're not alone. Simple. Real. And it was enough. Because that's what I wish someone had told me at the beginning. When Mateo was still sweet, still pretending, still weaving his story around my hope. That's how they get us, right? They don't come in loud. They come in soft, with compliments, with vulnerability, with stories about dreams and hard lives and needing a second chance. And we, women who are taught to be kind first, we want to help. We want to believe. But believing shouldn't cost us our dignity, or our money, or our safety. And once I told my story, I realized how many of us were living the same one. We just hadn't said it out loud yet. There were women who had never filed a report. Women who were too embarrassed to tell their friends. Women who thought they were the problem. They weren't. They were just trusting someone who didn't deserve it. Like I did. Like so many of us have. And the crazy thing? Most of these women weren't looking for revenge. They weren't trying to expose anyone. They just wanted to be believed, to be told that it mattered, that they weren't being dramatic, that their gut feeling meant something. And that's when I knew this was more than just a personal story. This was a quiet movement, a ripple, starting from one man's mistake, but echoing through dozens of women's lives. Mateo thought he was clever, thought he was playing the system. But what he really did was bring a bunch of women together who will never fall for it again. And now, they're sharing their own red flags, helping others spot the signs early, talking openly in forums, whispering warnings into inboxes, building invisible networks of protection. We're watching each other's backs now, because no one should have to learn this lesson the hard way. I didn't plan to start anything. I just told the truth. But sometimes, that's all it takes. It's been weeks now. No new fake accounts. No weird message requests. No accidental texts from random numbers. Just silence. Mateo disappeared. And this time, I didn't feel anxious. I felt relieved. Because when a narcissist stops trying to control the narrative, it means the narrative is finally out of their hands. I checked his old social profiles once, just out of curiosity. One had been deleted. Another had all posts wiped. His professional one, a one with the employer tag, was now locked and inactive. Digital breadcrumbs gone. But the damage? Already done. Immigration won't forget. His employer certainly won't. And most of all, his wife won't. Part of me used to wonder if she'd ever message me. She never did. But she didn't have to. Because truth doesn't need acknowledgement to matter. Sometimes it just needs to be seen. I imagined her once, sitting on her couch, reading the screenshots, seeing the proof, the lies, the fake sweetness. Maybe she cried, maybe she screamed, maybe she stayed, maybe she left. I'll never know. But whatever she chose it with all the facts, because I made sure of that. And now he's gone. And I didn't just survive. I grew. I stopped dating for a little while, not out of fear, out of respect for myself. Because when you rebuild your boundaries, you have to give them time to set. You don't rush into a new thing just because the old thing broke. You pause. You breathe. You stand still long enough to remember what wholeness feels like without someone else standing beside you. That's where I am now. Whole, quiet, at peace. My friends say I'm different. Not harder, not colder, just more rooted. I've been reading more, sleeping better, working with more confidence. Matteo used to make me feel like I was too much, too successful, too smart, too secure. Now, I realize those were his insecurities, not mine. And when I think about him now, I don't get angry. I don't even feel pity. I feel nothing. That's how I know I won, because true healing isn't loud. It doesn't demand applause. It just exists quietly in the way you carry yourself afterward. I don't talk about him much anymore. Don't need to. But when his name comes up, or when someone new says, I think I'm seeing a guy who reminds me of that story, I tell them what I wish someone had told me. Don't wait for a man to confirm your worth. If something feels off, it probably is. And if you leave early, you're not losing. You're protecting your future self. That's the real legacy of all this. Not just the ban, not the takedown, not the screenshots, but the lesson, the strength passed down quietly from woman to woman. Looking back now, it's not the big things that stand out. It's the small moments, the tiny red flags I brushed aside, the weird comments I laughed off. The part of me that said, maybe I'm overthinking. I wasn't. I was spot on. That's the lesson I carry now, more than anything. Trust your gut, because it's not just intuition. It's self-respect disguised as a whisper. And I'll never ignore it again. Matteo didn't destroy me. He revealed me to myself. Showed me where my boundaries were loose. Showed me how strong I could be when I needed to act. Showed me that silence isn't protection, it's permission. And now, I don't give permission to chaos. I don't tolerate confusion dressed up as charm. I don't romanticize potential. I don't let good chemistry override bad behavior. I don't wait for someone to show me who they could be. I watch who they are right now, because that version, that's the real one. The old me would have kept giving him chances. The new me gave him consequences instead. And that's not just about him. That's about every man who thinks emotional manipulation is a personality trait. Every guy who thinks kindness is a weakness to exploit. Every person who assumes that women like me, smart, soft, successful, are too easy to fool. Not anymore. I've had enough of men who make messes and expect me to clean them. People who confuse effort with obligation. Relationships where love is a transaction instead of a connection. The next person who stands beside me will be there because we match energy, not needs. And the beautiful part? I'm not bitter. I don't hate love. I'm not jaded. I'm just self-aware now. And self-awareness is the sharpest kind of armor. I've built a new kind of peace, one where I don't over-explain. I don't justify my standards. I don't apologize for being too difficult for someone trying to manipulate me. And when people ask about Matteo now, I just say, He was a lesson, and I graduated. That's the real revenge. Not the immigration ban, not the deleted profiles, not the ruined lies. It's the fact that I moved on completely, and he never saw it coming. There's a version of me that existed before Mateo. She was hopeful, a little naive, but full of light. Then there was the version that got burned, the one that cried, overthought everything, wondered if she was the problem. And now, there's this version. She doesn't chase. She chooses. She chooses peace over passion, stability over chaos, truth over sweet talk. She doesn't ask for respect. She expects it. I didn't become this woman overnight. It happened in stages. In every ignored red flag, every gut feeling I brushed off, every "I'm probably overreacting" moment, those were the seeds. And when he crossed the line, that was the harvest. Because when someone tries to use your kindness against you, and you stand up anyway, something in you shifts forever. I no longer apologize for my strength, or my standards, or my silence when I decide not to explain myself. Because I've learned that the loudest thing you can do is walk away with clarity. Mateo didn't teach me that. I taught myself through him. He wanted a sugar mommy. He got a Storn instead. A woman who didn't just reject him, but revealed him to his wife, to his friends, to his family, to immigration, and finally, to himself. I don't think he'll ever admit what he really did, but that's not my concern anymore. My concern is becoming the kind of woman who doesn't need to destroy someone to feel powerful, because walking away clean is the ultimate flex. Now when I look at the future, I see options, not fears. I don't wonder, what if someone tries to use me again? Because if they do, I know exactly what to do. I won't fall apart. I won't second guess. I won't seek closure from someone incapable of giving it. I'll document, expose, protect my peace, and I'll never lose sleep over someone who saw my heart as a shortcut. Because that heart? Still soft, still full of love, just smarter now. I don't regret dating again. I don't regret being open. I just regret giving my energy to someone who didn't deserve it. But even that taught me what to protect. I used to think the goal was finding someone who wouldn't hurt me. Now I know the goal is becoming someone who won't tolerate it. If you've made it this far, I want you to hear something clearly. You are not stupid for trusting someone, for hoping they were real, for giving them the benefit of the doubt. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. What matters is what you do next, not how long you stayed, not how much you gave, not how badly they tried to twist it. What matters is that you got out, and you chose yourself. People like Mateo, they don't win in the end. Because they're always trying to build something on lies, and lies collapse. Eventually, always. He thought I'd stay quiet. He thought I'd feel embarrassed. He thought I'd just block him and move on while he tried again with the next woman. He didn't expect screenshots. He didn't expect law enforcement. He didn't expect immigration showing up at his door. And he definitely didn't expect me to tell everyone. Because when a man plays with your time, your heart, and your safety, he doesn't deserve a lesson. He deserves consequences. I didn't go viral. This story didn't trend, but it traveled from one woman to another, from one friend group to another, from one quiet voice into a chorus. Because this story, it's more common than people realize. Different names, different tactics, same outcome. A woman wondering how she let it get that far. But here's what I know now. I didn't let it happen. He worked for it. He planned, manipulated, calibrated his charm. I just didn't see it yet. But when I did, he had no idea what was coming. So to every woman listening, if someone tries to make you feel like you're lucky to have them when they're the one asking for everything, walk away. If someone jokes about using you, believe them. If someone insults you the moment you hold a boundary, block them. Emotionally, digitally, legally, whatever it takes. You don't need to scream. You don't need to destroy anyone. You just need to know your worth and act like it. That alone will do more damage to a fraud than any fight ever could. Mateo will be back in his hometown now. Maybe still lying. Maybe still pretending he's the victim. Let him, because the truth is louder, even if it's whispered. He thought I was weak, but I wasn't. I was quiet. And quiet women are the ones you should fear the most. Because when we finally speak, we don't raise our voice. We raise hell.